Om Sadashiva Samarambam Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Pariyamsam Vande Guru Param Param Vishwaro Guratmeti Yochi Veda Vibhagine Yom Abda Vyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha Savavedanta Sedanta Gocharam Tamagocharam Govindam Paramanandam Satguru Pranatoshmaham Om Shanti 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 Om Namaste. Welcome. Mandukya Karika, chapter 3, verse 23, page 169, halfway into that. No, at the bottom of that page. Okay, page 169, verse 23rd. Vedic statement is the same whether duality is created, really created, or apparently created. That which is ascertained by analysis is supported by reason, is the proper meaning, not any other meaning or interpretation. So Gaudapada seems to be saying that it doesn't matter. It is a fact that we experience this cosmos, this universe, and we cannot deny it. Ultimately, it does not matter much if this is a meteor reality or real reality. So the only importance, to my take, is the only importance for us to establish that this world is not really real is that we that could help us finally to project, to attribute real value to the objects of experience of this world, and we would somehow turn our attention to our intrinsic nature as the light of consciousness illumine and experiencing, revealing and experience this kind of cosmos, the objects within it. So to know that somehow it's not really what it seems to be, it's not really real, it's a further logic that helps us to gather our willpower, in association with logic and understanding, to stop projecting, because Ishvara Maya projects and sustains this world only to the extent that we keep, attributing reality to the world. Shwara and Maya, Shwara, they are not alone in this. So, and furthermore, we don't want to somehow collapse this meteor world because we don't have the power, but we can somehow neutralize its effects on ourselves. You understand? And we can only do to the extent that we see it for what they are, just names, colors, and forms of objects, names and forms of ornaments of gold, you know. So we looked into this beautiful previous verse, in which it was being established that the intrinsic nature of something is that which is not subject to any change. It was saying this, it does not undergo change. It's not subject to change, the intrinsic nature of something. And as we have understood and established already by Viveka, by discrimination, discernment, uh, a real creation involves change. And the moment that we accept those statements that Brahman has created the world as an extension of itself, and then we accept that Brahman is undergoing change, is subject to change, and we know that that's not possible. And we know that also by first-hand experience, because we know that there is a certain aspect in our human experience which is free from change, okay? Which is not the mind, it's not the intellect, it's not any aspect of the body mind sense complex. So since I do not undergo change as Brahman, so the world could not have been created by Brahman. So if Brahman is not really the intelligent cause and the material cause of the universe, and then we come to the conclusion that this world is only available for appearance and experience, but it's not really there, you know, substantially, essentially, really, absolutely, it is not really there. Why not? Because the only thing that is always there is the essential nature, the intrinsic nature of any phenomenal object. Yeah. So we know that there is no change in the essential intrinsic nature. The intrinsic essential nature is Satchitananda, is consciousness, existence, the only reality, therefore non-dual, one without a second. And to understand that I am, as consciousness exists, the only reality, it somehow it redirects my attention, my awareness from the world to my true nature. You know? Because I have established that the world not being really real and but just an appearance, and all the apparent objects do not really possess in real intrinsic nature, but I am project real intrinsic value, but I am project value. You see the game is pathetic. All there is apparent namarupas without any real value or value neutral. There is no intrinsic value. And we human beings, we project values and then we begin chasing after something which has no value, or if the only value there is in any object of nature, any nature object, is the very value that is illumining and revealing, and that is myself as Brahman, as consciousness. So it helps us to break with this fascination towards the Namarupas, the Mithya Namarupas project. We say that it's projected by Maya, but we are also, you know, we are projecting it. By how so? By, yeah, attributing value. And then the scripture comes and says, so this is all part of this Mithya reality, it's just an appearance. But we cannot totally reject this appearance because the appearance jiva needs to understand its true essential nature, which is the true essential nature of the entire projection, to be free from the terrifying aspects of this projection, such as mortality of the physical body. No? So we therefore we want to get to a clear picture of the status of this universe as available for as an appearance, available for experience and transaction, and it was never really originated. And it appears to have been originated, appears to be real due to a certain power called or referred to as Maya or Avidya, ignorance of the true essential intrinsic nature of this universe, you know, which is consciousness, pure limitless consciousness, that which is our fundamental, true, essential nature, which is fundamentally the essential nature of Jagata and Ishvara as well. Everything is Brahman. That is the teaching here. And Brahman does not undergo any change. No? So, but since this universe continues to appear, because we cannot negate uh, the appearance and the availability for transaction and experience and knowledge. So who cares about to get the knowledge in regards to the snake that was superimposed on a rope? The snake is not really there, and we can do so much analysis on what kind of snake is that according to the projection, the mind projecting the snake. Oh no, that's should be this snake, should be that snake. Oh, it's a mortal, it's a little one. So who cares about analyzing something which is not really real? So we are not scientists. We are not interested to analyze this projection. We are interested to understand the teachings that are going to reveal the intrinsic true nature of this projection, right? All effort we do is not to we are not interested in scientific knowledge. We want to extract the knowledge in regards to the intrinsic true nature of this projection. Therefore, it does not matter if it's really real or apparently real. We want to get to the intrinsic nature of this cosmos, regardless of being real or just apparently real. That's the point. Vedic statement is the same, and it has the same value regardless of this apparent world, which is duality. Yeah? Has been really created or apparently created. That which is ascertained by analysis and is supported by reason is the proper meaning. So we need to go and come to this is a difficult word for me. We need to establish by analysis what is the real meaning of all these declarations, Upanishadic declarations of creation, origination of the universe from Brahman. There are many Upanishads, as we know, that gives us the impression that the Brahman has originated this cosmos. Now, so we need to look at those meanings, analyzing it, so that we can get the proper meaning, which is the intended meaning of the writer. What was the intended meaning of Gaudapada or many other writers of many Vedantic texts, and even the rishis themselves? What was the intended meaning of Lord Krishna when he presented the creation as being originated by Brahman? So we have looked into that. At the beginning, we need to present the creation so that the junior student, may grow into trust, go in trust now, and shraddha, confidence that the Vedas is a valid means of spiritual knowledge that can transform my life. If the beginning we say, the scriptures say there is no creation, so we're going to be in the same position as many people in the direct path who goes to the very last chapter of spirituality and leaves everybody hanging there without any base, to understand the final statement, such as the ones we see here in the Upanishads, in the Mandukya and the Karikas of Gaudapada. So, what is the intended meaning? What is the literal meaning? The literal meaning is that Brahman has initiated to create the world, and the intended meaning or the hidden meaning or the compromised meaning, this was just apparently projected by a certain power called ignorance, or māyā. So we need to understand the proper meaning of those statements that assert that Brahman has originated the world, so that we can get the intended meaning. An object may be raised which must be answered, and the answer should be assimilated. Gaudapada says that the origination of the world should not be accepted. The world has not originated from Brahman. So does Gaudapada accept the Veda? Are you sure we did not do this verse before? Okay. So Gaudapada accepts the Vedas as a source of knowledge. So that's the question. So because it's contradicting the Vedas, and Swami goes to the extent to say there is a dispute in academic circles that says that Gaudapada may be more like a Buddhist, and he has rejected the Vedas. Gaudapada accepts the Veda because he quotes several Shruti Pramana Vakyans. Yeah? He quotes several means, declarations of Pramanas, means, and in this Karika itself is a commentary on an Upanishad. Upanishad clearly discusses the origination. So he quotes several Upanishads in which the origination, the declarations of the origination of the universe from Brahman is discussed. Upanishads clearly discuss the origination of the world from Brahman, but Gaudapada says otherwise. Is Gaudapada contradicting the Veda Pramana? This is the question here. This is the objection of the dispute. Gaudapada answers not by saying that the Veda is wrong, but by saying that the Veda should be read in its entirety. We should never read only selective statements, like some people who like to go to the last chapter of a book, the last page of a book to know the final conclusion. We should study the Vedas, going to the very Veda Anta in its entirety, and with the help of a brilliant guru such as Swami Paramarthananda. So we should never take only selective statements. If Veda is read in its entirety, it will be found that the Veda does not talk about actual creation, but just a seeming apparent creation. Even if Veda talks about the origination of the universe, it cannot talk about the actual origination of the world from Brahman, because Brahman is that which does not change. It would go against logic, as we have established. Creation involves what? Transformation. You have something that needs to become something else. Every creation involves change. Therefore, it goes against logic. Naturally, we hear that there are some exceptions to the rule. Some creation can be done now without much of a change. But that is not the case, because even the case of the spider, it somehow creates its net by as an extension of itself, and there is a change there. Her body, the body of the snake, becomes a body, the snake body plus the net. So there is a certain change. If the Veda says that Brahman is changeless, how could Brahman produce the world? An illogical statement should not be accepted, even if the Veda says Brahman has created the world. But it needs to be properly interpreted. An illogical idea should not be accepted blindly. If Veda makes an illogical statement, what are we supposed to do? We should not say that the Veda is wrong because the Vedas are accepted as valid means of knowledge. The statement should not be blindly accepted either. The statement should be interpreted in such a way that it's no longer logically contradictory. When the intellect can accept the statement then the intellect, only then the intellect will be able to accept the statement. In several places, Vedas say that Svarga is finite in nature. Whatever. Okay. Uh, in several places, Vedas say that Svarga is finite in nature. So Svarga goes to celestial locus, okay, realms. Whatever is created is temporarily. So it says that in very place in the Vedas, it says that even this celestial universe are finite in nature. Whatever is created is temporarily created. But in some places, Vedas says that celestials in Svarga are immortal beings, which seems to be contradictory and illogical. Some parts, the Vedas says that those celestial locus are finite and they have a beginning and an end. And how can then the celestial beings living in those locus be immortals? This is a contradiction. The interpretation is that immortal refers to a very long time, very long life. It's like saying a permanent job. Oh, now finally enough, I got a permanent job. So this is something from the past. It does not exist anywhere anymore in the world. No? I got a permanent contract, a permanent job, meaning that the job is relative permanent because they are going to retire you or they are going to find a way to replace you sooner or later. Gaudapada says that Brahman creating a world is illogical, and so even if Veda says that, it should be interpreted properly. The interpretation is that Brahman seemingly created the world just like the waker seemingly creates the dream world. So we go back to this brilliant analogy, example of the dream world that somehow is experienced every night by all of us. I had some very, very clear dreams this night. And so we do have dreams every night, and they appear to be real. But we know that the dream world is not really real. No? We are not going to go back to that teaching to, again, to draw the parallel to say that likewise the awakening world is as well not real, because that's a teaching that was properly assimilated by all of us. No? So Maya has certain powers that can project certain apparent reality and make them look real from the standpoint of the entity experiencing that order of reality. So we see in the dream, the dreamer finds the dream world to be real. We see in the awakening state, the waking world seems to be real for the awaker. But the parallels are there that it's only about a superimposition or projection that happens within the scope of I, Brahman, I consciousness. And how so? How would I know that is an apparent projection? Because it appears and disappears, as we know, and it's changing from moment to moment. Therefore, it cannot be real. Reality is that which is always ever present, never undergoing change. Gaudapada says that Brahman creating a world is illogical, and so even if Veda says that, it should be interpreted intelligently, properly. The interpretation is that Brahman seemingly creates the world just like Waker seemingly creates the dream world. Therefore, Gaudapada says that the Upanishadic statements of creation are the same whether the creation is actual or seeming creation. There is no doubt that there is a statement of origination But this creation does not clarify, origination does not clarify whether this creation is an actual, real creation or a seeming creation. The Upanishad leaves this for us to interpret. We talk about sunrise, but we do not say if the sun is actually rising or apparently rising. No? So the Upanishad just leave it to us, but the Upanishad here and there gives us the clear indication that this creation is a mithya creation. That's why we have this brilliant concept of something which is not sat, it's not a sat, it's different from sat, and the sat, it is mithya, that which is available as an appearance, available for transaction, experience, and knowledge, but it was never created and it does not really exist in reality. Yeah? Okay. Which one is the final message of the Vedas? The creation is a real, actual creation or seeming creation? We should take only the seeming creation because the other one is contradictory to logic, and that's what Gaudapada is helping us with. We should come to this conclusion by thoroughly analyzing the Upanishad by the use of Mimamsa, and Tarka. Mimamsa is analysis of the Vedas uh, and any text to know the intention of the author, the intended meaning. Tarka is logical analysis. So we scrutinize those statements logically. And then once we don't see literal logic in what is being stated, we're going to not reject the Veda, but say, let's look for the intended meaning behind this illogical statement. After such analysis, what is logically possible, only which was logically possible, is accepted. Otherwise, we need to look for the intended meaning by the author. Anything from you guys? In language, we see this all over the place. We write and say things which literally are illogical, but we have read the ability to go through those illogical statements and extract the intended meaning. So it's a common thing. No? Agreed? Anything from you, Lynn? You are going to say something?
Nope. Clear. Very clear. Thank you.
Verse 24. That Ātmā is indeed born, is indeed apparently born. It means now that he's not saying that that the world was born. That Brahman is indeed born, apparent born. Why? Because it says that the self was born, Brahman was born, and out of Brahman the world is born as well. In this Ātmā, in this self, in this Brahman, there is no pluralities at all. The Ātmā is seen as many due to māyā, this cosmic ignorance, remaining unborn. Brahman is only, it is apparent born as many. Brahman appears as many Jiva-Atmas. Paramatma appears as many Jiva-Atmas, but it is a seeming phenomenon. Brahman, Paramatma, remains as Atma, unborn, never transformed in many Jiva Atmas. The Jiva Atmas are names and forms given to different space contained, apparent space contained in apparent clay pots. There are no real space contained or limited by any pot. There is not real any Ātmā contained in any body-mind complex. There is only Ātmā, one Ātmā, and several body-mind complex are project superimposed within this Ātmā. This Ātmā does not become many, does not appear as many, does not really appear. This Ātmā does not allow for any diversity or plurality, is one without a second. It is non-dual. This Ātmā is apparently seen as many due to a certain power of māyā. But this Ātmā remains unborn, although it is apparently born as many. Satyamitya, Namarupas and the essential nature of all Namarupas. What is the essential intrinsic nature of this cosmos? Is consciousness, Brahman. But then superimposed on Brahman, superimposed on conscious existence of non-dual nature, appears an infinity, numberless Namarupas, among them the Jivatmas. So it remains unborn, never was born as Jivatmas, was never born as Ishvara, was never born as Jagata, because there is only Brahman. All superimposition of names, colors, and forms is due to māyā power to deceive all Jivatmas. In the following verse, Gaudapada gives several scripture statements in which the Veda makes it clear that the creation is only a seeming creation, not an actual creation. Very good. Thank you, Gaudapada. He's making a good selection here. Several quotations are given. One of them that we'll take up now is the well-known Purusha Shukta mantra. People who study the Veda generally study Rudram, Kamakam, and Purusha Sukshata. Sukshata is very important because both Shaivas and Vaishnavas study this scripture. There is a very powerful statement in that. It says that Bhagwan becomes many things without becoming. Bhagwan creates this world without creating or becoming. How is this possible? This can only mean that the creation is not factual. So how can Bhagwan becomes many without becoming anything? So we have been studying Vedanta for so long, but this is nothing new for us, because we understood the nature, the mithya nature of this universe long before. There is no many, there is no plurality, there is no diversity, there is no duality, there is only Brahman. But it appears to become many things without becoming. And then we have certain examples that Bhagwan becomes the universe without changing its nature because it remains as the substratum of the cosmos. The milk becoming the cheese loses its intrinsic nature because now the milk became cheese. But in the case of Brahman becomes the cosmos, the universe, holding its intrinsic nature as the substratum of this universe. So we hear, we listen, we contemplate on those statements, and we say, wow, this is an incredible exception to the rule. Something that is transformed in something else but remain intact. just like space in respect to all other elements and configurations. Yeah? So this is very beautiful. We have the example of space, and we are space-like because Brahman is space-like, and I am Brahman. Yeah? But has Brahman really created this world? Is the space really accommodating all other elements and configurations? Not really. Yeah. To begin with, space is just an appearance in consciousness, and then all other elements are further grosser appearance within consciousness. Everything is mithya. And the idea that Bhagavan could create a world remaining intact, just holding the world, can only indicate that this world is a projection or superimposition, exactly such as a projection on the screen of the cinema, or a reflection occurring or seen a reflecting medium such as the prakriti of māyā. Therefore, Bhagwan becomes many things without becoming. It's just something vague and abstract that, without further explanations, leaves the seekers, spiritual seekers, in the land of vagueness and abstraction, scratching their head and say, oh my God, it becomes many without becoming anything. Contradiction. Contradictions need to be resolved if we are serious Vedantic students. Otherwise, we are just more into mysticism and things like that. Bhagwan creates this world without creating. Again, it's not possible. This can only mean that the creation is just an apparent superimposition, projection. It's a hologram. Hologram is a good analogy nowadays, or it is a mirage. The cosmos is a mirage, project over something. Similarly, there are so many statements when they are studied in isolation, it makes us confused. It will only create confusion. So, as we have seen, the existence of the awakened world must be understood to be not real, therefore negated. The origination of this universe from Brahman must be understood to be false, therefore negated. The appearance must be accepted, and the cause is due to our ignorance in regards to the intrinsic, essential nature of this cosmos, which is myself, Satchitananda, consciousness. Self-ignorance in Mandukya Upanishad means ignorance of the substratum of the three states of the jīva Ātmā, Turiya Ajnanam, ignorance in respect to the substratum of the three mental states of the jīva Ātmā, experience those three orders of reality: the waking, dream, and deep sleep states, realities. Gaudapada is stressing these 4 points by addressing and analyzing them from various angles. He points out that this is the message found in not only Mandukya, but in many other Upanishads. Mandukya is not different and unique, but there is consensus among all the Upanishads with regards to this message of Gaudapada. Gaudapada analyzed several scriptural vakyans or declarations in regards to origination or creation of the universe. How are we to understand the statements of the Upanishads that say that the world was originated by Brahman? In this verse 23, Gaudapada makes a general observation. This is a profound and technical topic of Vedanta. The Upanishads repeatedly say that the world originated from Brahman. The world originated from Brahman. Gaudapada says that the Upanishad do not say that type of origination, but just an appearance and not actual origination. It only talks about origination, but does not say whether the origination, creation, is real or apparent. Gaudapada says that the creation we see everything has two versions, seeming or actual. It's up to us to determine it. The Upanishad statement about creation does not support the objectors of this creation, or does not support what Gaudapada is bringing here to the table. Merely by these declarations of origination, one can come to a conclusion. That's what Gaudapada said in the verse 22nd, that the creation may be actual or seeming, and the Upanishads do not comment either way, leaving it to ourselves. Therefore, one cannot go strictly, following literally, blindly, the declarations of creation, origination, but one has to go and look for some more clues. This is called mimamsa, Vedic analysis. Whether a Vedic idea is vague, whenever a Vedic idea is vague or abstract, you look around for some clues from other areas of the Veda to get further clarification about a particular vague idea present in the Vedas. If the idea becomes clear, the analysis is not. If the idea is clear from the beginning, analysis, research for clues is not necessary because the literal meaning is the intended meaning. But if the literal meaning is vague, abstract, or contradictory, we need to do further analysis. Gaudapada says that Mimamsa supports his analysis in that the origination is not a real one, but an apparent one. Later, Gaudapada says that not only Mimamsa supports his logic, but analysis, logical analysis. Later, Gaudapada says that not only Mimamsa supports his statements, but logic analysis also supports his statement. Both Mimamsa and Tarka establish the conclusions that the creation is just an appearance occurring in consciousness, not a real creation. So it is a superimposition brought about by a venture between Ishvara, Māyā, and jivas. When we talk about sunrise, we never refer to it as an appearance rising of the sun. Deep inside, we know that it's not really rising, but we let it be that way. But we have done our inquiry to know that the sun is never really rising. Huh? So that's the purpose of this analysis. But all over the place, so you're going to read the statement, the sun is going to rise today at certain time, 6, 7, 8, depending. Huh? It's rising, it's rising, it's rising, it's rising. Huh? So we need to reject that statement so that we know what is meant by that literal statement. The sun apparently rises, the universe apparently emerge every time we come out of the sleep state. The following verse 24, 25, and etc. are all clues explaining this appearance or supporting the fact that this creation is just an appearance. In consciousness, Gaudapada takes mantras from other Upanishads as well to support his very conclusion, his very statement. First, he states, these are very, very beautiful statements, important statements. You know, we don't have access to all these Upanishad texts, and we don't have much time to study all of them. And he brings a selection that's going to support Gaudapada's statement, not only Gaudapada's, but the statements that we learned in our Sampradaya, which began, not began, but, you know, starting from Ishvara, passing by Shankaracharya, yeah, which explains the mithya nature of this cosmos, the mithya nature of this jīva, the mithya nature of Jagata, and the mithya nature of Ishvara. In Katha Upanishad, it said that pluralistic universe is not at all there. It does not say it was not there, nor it will not be there. It says that even now, this pluralistic universe is not there. It's not that it was not there in the past, it will not be in the future, but it's there now. No, it's not there, not even now, past, present, and future. It's a very radical statement. This diversity, this universe appearing as infinite numbers of objects is not there at all. If a word has really originated from Brahman, it should be there now. It should have been there in the past and in the future. This Upanishad says that it's not there even now. Therefore, it's not a real origination. If the creation was real, Veda will not have negated as right now. Veda negates the pluralistic. And when you say Veda is the end of the Vedas in this Katha Upanishad, Veda negates the pluralistic universe, and so the creation must be an apparent seeming projection, creation. Instead of going, I'll quote the entire mantra, Gaudapada quote only 2 words, Neha Mana. This is clue number 1 for the apparent origination. Nama, Nana, Neha, Nana. So I don't know if it's going to become clear the meaning of Neha, Nana. Neha, Nana, maybe it's not there now. Let's see if it becomes clear here. Did you read into this verse to understand what is the meaning of Neha, Nana? Maybe not there. Okay. The second clue is from another Upanishad, Hiraṇyagarbha Upanishad. So let it be understood, says the great Rishi, that the master magician who can be called Māyā, the supreme being, who is designate here as Indra, the Lord of all beings, appears in such manifold forms that it is impossible for the physical eyes to connect the forms with the circumstance in which they are really placed. This is a complex statement. So let it be understood that the magician, the master magician, Māyā, the supreme being, designate, referred here as Indra, the Lord of all beings, appears in this manifold universe of names and forms. So let be have it clear that it's impossible for the physical eyes to connect the forms with its substratum or with the circumstance in which they they are placed, they are really placed. I think that he's pointing to the fact that this world is not what it seems to be. It brings about the vision, the sense of the eyes, the physical eyes can never see, but it goes beyond that. The human intellect cannot connect the dots to understand how Maya does this incredible trick. Brahman multiplies into many through a certain power, as we know, or produce this universe through this Maya Shakti. Maya is often an indication of a trick placed by a magician, performed by a magician, meaning magic. Whatever magically helps is not really happening. The greatest illusionist, the greatest magician, Maya Shakti. In Dakshina Murtistotram, we see another line in the verse 2. To him who like a magician or even like a great yogi displays by his own will this universe. This is clue number 2, referring to the universe as an effect of a magician power or great yogi capable of creating a certain universe, such as we have seen in the Rahasya, the mystery of, I forgot the title of that book, or previous. Whatever magically happens does not really happen. The third clue is taken by Purusha Shukta. It says that without multiplying into plurality, Bhagwan multiplies. This is possible only by seeming multiplication through Maya Shakti, exactly like the dream produced by Nidra Shakti. By using the word Maya, Gaudapada reminds us of a verse in the Bhagavad Gita which conveys a similar idea. Even though being one who is unborn, one old knowledge does not wane, and also being the Lord of all living beings, still yield my own Prakriti, I sought come into being by my own Maya power. Krishna says, even though I am unborn, I am born. This is not logically possible. The only way to explain is that even though I am born, I am seemingly born through Maya Shakti. We need to resolve these vagueness and logical contradictions. And the only way is by understanding the meaning of Mitya, that which is not real, was never created, but it's available for experience and knowledge due to certain ignorance in respect to the intrinsic nature of this Mitya universe. The non-apprehension of the true nature of something will produce a misapprehension or projection and misapprehension of something else upon that thing that was misapprehended. The misapprehension aham brahmasmi is going to produce the non-apprehension of my nature in Brahman as Brahman, aham brahmasmi, is going to produce the misapprehension aham body asmi. Vedanta is all about that. Investigating the true intrinsic real nature of the body mind sense complex, because freedom is freedom for the body mind sense complex for as long as one has karma to be exhausted. Verse 25, moreover, origination is negated by the negation of the Hiraṇyagarbha. The cause is negated by the statement, who indeed will create this jīva? Verse 25. Which text is this one? Another clue is taken from Isavaisya Upanishad. Yeah, Ishwara Vasya Upanishad. I'm interested in this Upanishad, by the way. I have asked a student of mine to begin looking and translate this, because lately I'm very much into Ishwara, Saguna Brahman, I mean. In this text, is Upanishad talks about Hiraṇyagarbha, Upasana. Is a word used by Ishwaya Upanishad to refer to Hiraṇyagarbha. What is Hiraṇyagarbha? We must remember. Hiraṇyagarbha is the first one born out of Ishwara, called Brahman in the Puranas. In the Puranas, Vishnu is the this is a difficult word for me. Depicted. I don't want to.
Depicted.
Depicted. It was depicted as Ishwara. Vishnu was depicted as Ishwara, and from him comes a lotus, and then Brahma appears. Brahma is called the firstborn. The Upanishad talks about Hiraṇyagarbha, and after introduce Hiraṇyagarbha Upasana, it says that it will not lead one to moksha. This Upasana has limitations. Karma and Upasana has its limitations. Observance of Dharma as well contains limitations. None of these will produce moksha, but will prepare us for moksha. In that light, the Hiraṇyagarbha Upasana criticism is done. From this criticism, it's clear that the Hiraṇyagarbha is not the ultimate reality. For otherwise, the Upanishad would have glorified Hiraṇyagarbha. Brahman. The birth of Brahman or Hiraṇyagarbha has to be apparent, and thus the origination of the world, which suppose happens from Brahma or Hiraṇyagarbha, is only an apparent one. So there are many clues. The next clue number 5, is from Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. This 28th mantra in the Upanishad is itself a group of 7 verses. The 7th mantra is quoted here. The Upanishad is questioning, who can create this world? By raising this question, the Upanishad says that the cause for the origination of the world cannot be talked about. So Brahman can never become the cause of the universe. Other than Brahman, there is nothing else that could produce or cause the universe. Then what is this world? This world is called Mithya, and he is called Māyā. It is an illusion, it is an appearance due to ignorance. It has appearance without any logical support or explanation. The more you probe into creation, the more mysterious it becomes, and our final answer will be, I do not know. This is called Māyā. This is called Mula Avidya, original ignorance. Ignorance in respect to what? The true nature of this appearance. Any appearance. We have to remember that any object of knowledge and experience is an appearance within consciousness. And any appearance is there so that we can extract the knowledge in respect the true intrinsic nature of that appearance. That's the ultimate learning we have to gain here. There are many appearances. The appearances here, they are structured in a physical material way so that we have more base to analyze our experience to understand the intrinsic nature of all objects occurring within us, limitless consciousness. The more we probe into this creation, the more mysterious it becomes, and then we can only pacify our mind and intellect and heart by understanding that there is no really any creation. If you accept that there is a creation, you're going to be all the time caught up in trying to understand when it began, who has projected, who has created this, what is the purpose of this creation, this and that. So the only way to understand creation is by understanding that there is no creation. There is a seeming creation. If everything is just mithya, seeming appearances, as we know, appearance can only be projected upon the support of that which is not an appearance, but the absolute reality. Image can be projected on a screen. Image can be reflected in a mirror like reflecting medium. You can never have apparent objects without the adhisthana, and our nature is turiya, is the adhisthana supporting this universe projected by Māyā, this mula avidya power. Okay, let me see if today I'm going to be able to save this class and not lose it. Anything from you guys? Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishate. Om Shanti 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 Om. Namaste. We meet tomorrow with the beauty of Bhagavad Gita, same time, same apparent nature. Namaste.
Thank you.
Thank you, Arlindo.
Thank you.
Thank you, Arlinda.
Thank
Bye
you.
now.
Bye.